From MTN Sports, this is Bobcat Insider, sponsored by First Interstate Bank.
Back off the bye week, the Bobcats are 8-0, their best Division I start in program history, and a win on Saturday in Cheney would be their best start ever since the 1956 team started 9-0. I'm Keaton Galogly alongside Grace Lawrence. We get set for Week 10. Head coach Brent Vigen joins us in a bit, and senior nickelback Miles Jackson is here this week as well. But first, Grace, a long to-do list for the Bobcats during the bye week, and the top line item was getting healthy.
Yeah, definitely. You know, injuries can be a pendulum, as Vigen has said before. Very tough with those 3 season-ending injuries to those defensive starters, but who they've got coming back, Bryce Grebe and Adam Jones, who missed last game. They look like they're good to go, listed on the depth chart. Ty McCullough, who kind of hurt his shoulder, his arm against Portland State, will be good to go. And the man of the hour, Julius Davis, is back, and he's ready to get going.
Yes, ma'am. We've got the namesake of the Juice Squad, Julius Davis, back and ready to return this week to join Scott Trey Humphrey, who's on the cusp of reaching 1,000 yards this season as well. We're talking about that and more with head coach Brent Vigen coming up after this timeout.
Welcome back to Bobcat Insider, sponsored by First Interstate Bank.
Back on the Bobcat Insider, Keaton Galogly alongside head coach Brent Vigen with the Bobcats coming off the bye week. Coach, how was the bye week without football?
It was good. You're in this to play football on Saturdays, but to have that week off to get our guys refreshed to some degree, to get some young guys some real good fundamental work, and then to do some recruiting. It was good on all ends. How
was it pairing up some of the recruiting with that earlier bye week, too? I know we talked about that early in the season.
Yeah, you have one opportunity in the fall to go into a school, see a game. We balance that between the two opportunities. Obviously, we've been able to get out in our state quite a bit, so there wasn't much left to do there, but it's getting out to all the different areas across the country that we recruit.
It was fun seeing some of the Portland guys, specifically Miles Jackson, getting the interception at Portland State. How important is it to some guys to have an opportunity, even if it's only one game every other year, to go play in their hometown like that?
No, I think it's really important. Beyond playing in your hometown, it's all the people that come and watch you. And I know for Miles, it was unique. That's the field he played out in high school. So a lot of memories for him, and to see him play the way he did was great. But for all our guys from the Pacific Northwest, whether it is Portland or Tacoma or Seattle, that's a great spot for us to play. So all the family can come and watch them play, and that's why recruiting within the footprint of the Big Sky is certainly where we start.
Is it fun watching those guys kind of before the game? Do they have a little extra juice when they know they've got a bunch of friends and family in the stands?
I suppose. I think that's the good thing about a lot of our guys, though. It really doesn't matter the scenario, but certainly, a guy like Miles going into familiar territory for him, and having missed out previously in that chance, because it's the 3rd time we played in Portland during his time, but really the 1st time he's truly played and started and all that. So big chance for him, and he made the most of it.
I want to stay on this Portland State game a little bit with some of the younger guys that got in. Staying in the Pacific Northwest, Ontario Latin Henley got some good run in this game. Still one more game to play before he hits that 4-game mark. But what do you think of Latin Henley and how he's evolving?
Yeah, best opportunity to this point for him. I know he's run a couple kicks back, but to get him out there on offense, I think we got the ball in his hands enough to see that if we can get him in space, he's got some unique ability. You take a year or two with Coach Herron, he's going to get bigger and stronger, but he certainly has some natural ability that we need at that position, and I'm excited for his future.
Also, some of the other second-line guys, Chance Wilson had a career high in pass attempts and completions, went 4 of 8 through the air. Seemed like it was a concerted effort to have him throw the ball a little bit more in this game?
Yeah, it's the first time we went wholesale and took the ones out. They had one drive in the second half, so Chance in the 2s and 3s had the rest of the game, and really wanted to run our offense from that point forward. Chance has been in that role for multiple weeks now, and I think his confidence, probably our confidence in him, has continued to grow, and that's what we need. Those game reps for a backup quarterback are so critical, and I think he's making the most of it to this point.
Yeah, fun to watch and see what he was doing. Going to the defensive side, obviously the injuries at the linebacker spot. Sounds like Bryce Grebe will be good this week. But for Neil Daly, boy, what a performance. First career sack. Is that the flash that you were expecting to see out of him as he's gotten healthier?
Yeah, for sure. I think Neil possesses some really good ability, and he's a really smart young man. He's been in the program. It's just the opportunity aligning with him being healthy hasn't been there to this point. So to see him go out there, start a game, and play as well as he did, that was our expectation. I think that was his expectation, and we'll need more of that as the season unfolds. But I think we have a player, Neil Daly, and it's glad that the health and the opportunity is finally met.
Yeah, fun to see how that continues to evolve for him. And, you've talked a lot about the evolution of a team throughout the season. You want to be a better team in November than you were in in September. But, as you did some self-scout, especially during the bye week, what are the next steps? What are the next levels that you're trying to take this team to?
Well, I think number one was just getting healthy. We've got some guys that have played quite a few plays at this point, so I think we knocked that off. And then it's continuing at all our positions to, sort out that depth. And I think we feel like we're in a good position as we head into the last third of the regular season. But then it's also, I think, special teams become such a critical piece to the remainder of this season and then onward. You got to win that battle, and I think there's plenty of position battles, plenty of opportunity that are still going on there. So in all ways, it's fortifying the depth. I think to this point, I think we feel good about, where our scheme is at, where our execution's at, but, we got to continue to, find new ways to do the things we're doing and then stay fundamentally sharp. So a lot of things left on the table for us and a lot of improvement left in my mind.
I want to put a pin in that special teams because it could play a role this weekend. But first, Julius Davis getting back this week. Everybody's very excited to see what the namesake of Juice Squad will do. What's your goal here in terms of incorporating Julius into the rotation? How do you see him fitting with Scott, Trey, and Adam as we go forward?
Well, it's to give Julius some run. He hasn't been tackled since the play in spring ball that he went down. And that's a tricky part of playing that position is, if you're not being tackled, it's not all happening for you. But, I felt like we all felt like last year Julius was better on game day than he was on a practice day, and it's our hope that continues. He runs with a great amount of ability, explosiveness, passion, and I trust that's going to be there. So we got to give him some opportunity to see what he can do while still finding opportunities for Scott, Trey, Adam, Jared alike. So hopefully there's a bunch of carries to go around.
Well, excited to see the anger, and smile of those three guys incorporate. All right, special teams. This is an Eastern Washington team that has already attempted 8 onside kicks. Some of them have been surprise. We've also seen a kick return touchdown for them. First of all, does Brendan Hall take it personally when somebody has a kick return against him?
I suppose, yeah. I think anytime a guy gets an opportunity, he expects that ball to be a touchback. Conditions don't allow for that. We were at sea level at Portland, basically, so I know he didn't get them all in the end zone, but he's been a great weapon for us. He hasn't entirely limited kick returns, but for the most part he has. Now going out to Eastern, we got to be able to cover. They're dangerous. They returned one for a touchdown against Idaho. So, hopefully Brendan can put a good boot into it, and they think twice about it. But I think what we've done to this point, when we had to cover, we've done a good job.
What about these onside kicks they've tried? Is that something you guys have to be ready for?
Absolutely. I think anytime a team shows even doing it once in a surprise mode, you got to be ready, and they've done it multiple times. They've had success. I think their success comes about because of the surprise nature, but also the effectiveness of the kicks. So that frontline guys, they got to clear the kick. We talk about that all the time, but they better be high alert this week, and then when given the opportunity to cover that, because then that becomes a really good field position piece for our kick return team.
Yeah, so far Eastern Washington 2 of 8 recovering onside kicks this year. These two quarterbacks we're going to see this weekend, 2 of the most efficient quarterbacks in the conference. Kakoa Visperis completing 74% of his passes. How are they using Kakoa? I know they've got 2 other quarterbacks they're incorporating, but specifically on Visperis, how is he distributing the football?
Well, I think he can kind of do it all, meaning he's got mobility, so they can run him, but then in the passing game, he's obviously been very accurate to complete that rate of passes. You got to be accurate, and then he can complete the ball down the field too. And a lot of those balls are going to Efton Chisholm, so we got to know where he's at first and foremost. Know they're going to try to get him the ball, but ultimately, like always, get pressure, on who's ever playing quarterback, make him feel uncomfortable, keep him contained at the same time, don't allow him to scramble, and really make his job as hard as possible.
All right, Coach. Well, here we go. The November schedule is upon us. Thanks for the time.
Excited for it.
All right, we're taking a break. When we come back, Grace Lawrence will rejoin us, and then we're talking to Nickelback Miles Jackson on the Bobcat Insider.
Welcome back to Bobcat Insider, sponsored by First Interstate Bank.
Bobcats are sitting in first place as we head into November, tied with UC Davis at 4-0, looking to stay perfect as they go to Cheney, and they eye their fourth straight win in the all-time series, which would be their longest since this all-time series began in the early 40s. All right, Grace, this is an Eastern Washington team that has struggled based on their record. A lot of that has been because of their defense, but their offense has been as prolific as ever, and that's going to put a lot of stress on these defensive backs.
Well, one of the best wide receivers in the league and has been for years is Efton Chisholm, and he's been honest. He wants to walk out of that red turf, at the end of his career, at the end of this season, and be one of those wide receiver legends up there with Cooper Kupp. So he'll definitely be challenging this secondary, those defensive backs.
And we've seen them play extremely well throughout the year, and one of the reasons why is Miles Jackson and what he's done at that nickel spot.
And he absolutely balled out in his hometown, in his high school stadium, Hillsborough Stadium. You'll hear more from him coming up after this.
Welcome back to Bobcat Insider, sponsored by First Interstate Bank.
Welcome back into the Bobcat Insider. Grace Lawrence here with defensive back Miles Jackson. Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. So you guys are coming off a bye week, but first let's talk about your homecoming at Portland State at Hillsborough Stadium, grabbing the big win. What did that homecoming mean to you?
It meant a lot being able just to go back to that stadium. I played a ton of games in throughout my high school career. Being able to be back in front of a ton of family as well, that was probably the biggest thing for me. Even though during the game I try not to get involved with the crowd, I try to just zone it out, but it was good seeing them after the game and all the love and support I had out there.
Yeah, you had a stellar game. Let's start with that big interception, kind of got it as you were falling out of bounds, taking back through that play.
I remember they ran the play a few times, and I knew the situation where they had to start taking some shots downfield. And I just knew if I stayed on top of it, they were going to eventually overthrow one. And it kind of just played into my hands. I was focused on – the only thing I was really focused on was making sure I caught it. That was the biggest thing for me because it was my first interception of my career, so I had to make sure I secured that one.
To get that one back at home in Hillsborough Stadium, what does that mean to you?
Oh, that's cool. I've had a few interceptions there in the past in high school, and to be able to do that in front of, like I said, all my family and all the team and stuff that supported me throughout this, to get to that moment, and all the preparation that went into it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, talking about the quarterback you went up against, Dante Sacheret. He was coming off a 200-plus game at Idaho State, National Player of the Week, Big Sky Player of the Week, and you guys held him to 65 yards, your defense. Just what was clicking that day?
I feel like Coach Daly made sure we came in with a really good game plan. We understood that he's a great player, and we had to respect his game in the passing game and the run game. And we knew that if we could stop him in the run, the passing and the back end will take care of the rest. So that's where we kind of all came together as a defense and emphasized shutting him down.
You guys had another season-ending injury to that starting defense with Danny Louis-Lakepa going down at Idaho, also losing Caden and Blake for the season. What has that next man up mentality been like, and keeping that standard of being so dominant with that starting defense?
We have a lot of young guys that are able to come back and step up. We had Drew Polidor come back, which has been huge for us. He's stepping up in a good role again. A lot of younger dudes stepping into roles at linebacker, at safety, and a few other positions where they're able just to keep that same intensity and same mindset that if you're on the field, you're the starter. And that's what we are able to keep pushing us forward towards our goals.
Definitely. Talking about Drew coming back against Idaho, that trio of you, Drew, and Rylan, what's it like working all together?
It's been good. I miss having Drew out there, seeing him back healthy. So it's been awesome having him back practicing and playing in games. And that first Idaho game, he had a few good plays, which was huge for us. And unfortunately, he got the target in this past game. But it's part of the game, and stuff like that happens. So.
Yeah, talking about this season for you, Vigen had said you're playing your most consistent ball, your best ball of your college career so far. So what do you attribute to being so dependable this season?
I would say being able to settle down at one position. I've done a lot of bouncing around and didn't really get to keep my foot in the door at either one. So being able to really have a solidified position where I can grow and over the off season put a lot of training into the mental game of the book where I'm able just to really go over plays, formations, certain concepts, and understand the game just a lot better.
Yeah, how much, I guess, can you go into a bit more detail about how nice it is to just stick at that nickel position and talk about kind of some of the movement you've had to do throughout your career?
I feel like playing corner and nickel separately kind of helped me learn the overall defense. and better understand where everybody else is supposed to be so I can do my job better. And that's kind of put me in positions to be able to make plays and react faster to certain things. And nickel I feel like is a lot of fun because I'm more involved in the run fits and in the passing as well. So it's kind of a more involved position, which I like.
And then this year, working with Coach Jody Owens for the first time, how has that been? How's he as a mentor, all of it?
Oh, Coach Owens has been a great coach for us. He's made sure he's harped on the little things that turn into big things, and that's his biggest thing, is being consistent and making sure we're just keep improving and setting our standards high for ourselves and for the rest of the guys on the team, which has ultimately brought us all up. And trying to build depth this year, he's played a lot of guys, and I feel like that's put us in position to where we've had a few people go down, so we have a lot of people who are able to step up and be in those positions.
Yeah, getting into your opponent this weekend in Eastern Washington, first off, what's your experience with the red turf?
I've played there, I think, twice already, and it doesn't really bother me too much. I think we've won every time we played there, so it's just another place for us, I feel like.
It's going to be my first time, so I got to prepare my eyes for that for 3.5 hours. But talking about their explosive offense as well, you guys have faced a few of that. You know, a really dynamic threat in Efton Chisholm at wide receiver. What are you expecting out of that opposing offense?
He's a good player. We have to make sure we show respect to. But at the end of the day, we know our defense, and our defense this year is holding a lot of first half shutouts, holding teams to 0 points, and it's been a great year. Third down defense has been terrific, so we just got to keep it up. We know he's a good player, but at the end of the day, we know we're a really good defense, and we know what we need to do to win.
And you guys are firing in all cylinders. What's it like when you're on the sidelines watching that offense for you guys just go off with the run game, with the pass game?
When we're both able to work together, we're an unstoppable team. I for sure feel like that, and this team has potential to take it all the way. And when the offense is moving the way they are and the defense is clicking the way we are, it all works together, and that's the winning combination.
Yeah, knowing your ceiling, I'm sure you guys do know it, but also, you know, you guys have remained so consistent, you know, no matter who's in front of you, treating every opponent the same, not looking too far ahead. How do you do that also now after a bye week, seeing everything that's in front of you with 4 games left of the regular season?
I think the key to it is keeping a one-game schedule. Like every team's, we just have to focus on the team ahead of us. We're not focused on the next week after that at all, or weeks down the line. It's whatever team we're playing against that week, and we're not taking anybody lightly because the Big Sky is a competitive conference, and we just got to make sure we just keep winning.
Yeah, we've heard so much how player-led you guys are when you guys came back, you know, during spring ball, during fall camp. Just how much does that group of the 23 seniors that you're included in, you know, matter to that consistency and, you know, implementing that to the younger guys?
I feel like we have a lot of good leadership in the room, and we had a few leaders go down who are seniors, but overall their influence on the team is still there. They are great vocal leaders and push guys to be their best regardless of what their situation is right now. So I think having a big group of seniors is leading the charge for where we want to be.
One goal for the rest of this season?
I would say the goal for the rest of the season is to keep winning. That's my main goal, is every week just keep winning.
Go 1-0 every day. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining me so much today. Good luck this weekend. And coming up, Keaton and I will be previewing that matchup against Eastern Washington.
Welcome back to Bobcat Insider, sponsored by First Interstate Bank.
Welcome back into the Bobcat Insider. Grace Lawrence here alongside Keaton Galogly. And Keaton, Miles Jackson, Brent Vigen has said it before, one of those unsung heroes, those unsung guys, as the defensive back room has seen some turnover with injury, specifically Caden Dowler, who went out with that torn ACL for the season.
Right, and we thought Caden Dowler, Miles Jackson coming into the year would be kind of splitting that nickel role, but with those injuries at the safety spot, it's been Miles Jackson as the guy at the nickel spot, and he's really helped elevate the entire DB room, especially when you look at the trio of the guys at the cornerback spot. When you look at Simeon Woodard, Andrew Powdrell, John Johnson, those guys have taken a big step, and that has helped Montana State play some of this complementary football. And as you look at this offense right now, It's the rich getting richer in the backfield.
Most definitely. I mean, we talked to Adam Jones yesterday in his press conference for the week, and he just said that, I don't know how you would guard us if I were an opposing defense. Very honest, but very true. He said they load the box, we can go over the top, but that running back room is absolutely getting richer now. As Julius Davis returns, thunder and thunder with Scottrade, and then the lightning of Adam Jones, we're going to see how it's going to work this weekend.
It's going to be a lot of fun to see that, and when you're pounding the rock the way they are on the ground right now, we get to see some great performances through the air. Rohan Jones has caught a touchdown in each of the last 5 games, and Taco Dollar, the last 3 games, 4 receiving touchdowns on 7 catches while averaging 30 yards per reception. So Cats have been explosive on both sides of the ball, and they'll try to keep it up coming up starting at 2 p.m. at Eastern Washington on Saturday. We'll talk to you next week on the Bobcat Insider.